Good afternoon. My name is Martin Cowart, and welcome to the Financial Mystics Sanctuary, noonday meditation and contemplative prayer hour. The truth will set you free. We've all heard that, almost to the point where it's a cliche. We don't even quite believe it. What do we mean the truth will set us free? Whose truth? What truth? What are we even talking about here? The truth will set you free. I think it's the truth of who we are. The truth is we are all part of something so much bigger than ourselves. The divine creator of the universe. That's what freedom is realizing the truth of who we are. And then we're free from the limiting beliefs of our egoic minds. Hello, somebody's here to talk to us today. Hey, Darso, nice to see you. Monday. Feels like Monday. Thank you for joining us. We're talking about freedom today. We hear all the time, the truth will set you free. Jesus said, the truth will set you free. Meister Eckhart talks about the truth of reality setting us free, liberating us. What are we being liberated from? We're being liberated from our egoic minds. We're liberating ourselves from the clutches of the limiting beliefs of our egos. The false self is just doing its job to protect us. But remember, from the egoic's perspective, it's never going to be enough. There's never enough it wants to control, it wants to manipulate. Its job to protect us. But sometimes it's doing a little too much. Yes, I'm excited about that too. Let me see. Yes, I'm very excited about the Supreme Court ruling today that LGBT rights will be honored under the Civil Rights Act of the 60s and everything else. So yes, that is wonderful, wonderful news today. It's a long time coming. That is freedom. Freedom to be ourselves. Gay, straight, whatever. It's the idea that we'd have to have a ruling about that. But that's a step in the right direction of freedom. And I'm glad you brought that up, because it's like the fact that we had to make a law against it just shows us exactly how influential the ego is on our society today, and how it's this fear-driven need to manipulate and control others dominates the world. And that's why I think it's so that's why it's so important that we come together and liberate ourselves first from our own sort of limiting beliefs about who we are. And then we can begin to liberate others, and we can share that liberation with others, and we can see where they're stuck, and through love we can bring others into the promised land, if you will. But why is this so hard? Wow. I don't know why. I just know it is. But I also know that, yes, fear equals racism. Yes, the underlying culprit, if you will, for racism is fear. And that is this limiting belief that, and scarcity too, the belief that there's not enough. So in the sense that if there's not enough to go around for everybody, then if I need to get my share, I need to exert my superiority over another being in order to make sure I get what's entitled to me. All of this is wrapped up in this whole construct of, well, homophobia is too, but that's a different animal. And I would say that comes back to an internal belief system homophobia is more internalized, and then it gets external. But it's a great example because when we as gay people internalized our own fears of ourselves, of not being enough, and not being good enough, not being loving enough, not being whatever, not being manly enough, masculine enough, or whatever, then we begin to bring that into the world, and we project that into the world. That's why it's so important we practice this art of letting go of our fears of homophobia, and accept. And when we let go of our fears and let go of our own sort of sense of identification, even the fact that I'm a gay man, when I let go of that as an identity, and realize that I'm more than that, I am actually a spiritual, loving awareness that just happens to be gay, then that concern it just dissolves, because what's the problem? It's just the way I am. But we have to go do the work first. We got to see, where did we learn that belief? Why did we learn it was wrong? Probably in some way trying to protect ourselves, being bullied as children, and hearing those things about people who saying, well, basically hearing that people who are gay aren't lovable. And we all want to be loved and fit in. I mean, our basic needs are, that's what makes it so confusing, is that basically we need to be loved, we need to fit in, we need to be fed, we need to have our needs met. We need certain human things to exist. And so the ego's job is to protect us, but sometimes it gets overly jealous, overly protective, if you will. And it begins to think it knows better than that, but it really doesn't need to protect us from anything most of the time. Yes, religion and church has been very influential in that, I would certainly say. Yeah, religion, church, religion has done a pretty miserable job of creating connection with people and God. Because and people don't want to let go of that either. They want to hold on to those because those rules and those laws were created, again, out of protection, not from bad people, but from the need to dominate and control. That's the human ego's need. It needs to find ways to dominate and control other people, and fear is one of them. So if it can make sex, those natural feelings of sexual excitement and bad, and then it has a way of controlling you, because it makes you believe that you're bad if that's the way you are. And so that's the whole purpose of the truth will set you free. That's the whole purpose of practicing a meditation, is what I call the art of letting go, and then put in because of your religious institutions and your religious upbringing. That's very true, particularly in certain Southern fundamentalist churches, in the Roman Catholic Church, and certainly in the Church of Latter-day Saints, where they make who you are and make that a sin, and they make you a less than human being. So you're absolutely completely correct with that feeling. So we all have things we've got to let go of and surrender, and maybe it's the things that we believed about God, and believed about church, and believed about ourselves. Came to us in all sorts of different ways, different people throughout our lifetime. That's why we have to practice. That's why it's called a practice. Because I can tell you something else. The shadow will show something up every single day in my life about me. It could be because I'm gay. It could be because I'm 65. It could be because I'm 10 pounds overweight. Whatever the ego wants to find to make me a little less than perfect, it will find and make me feel bad about myself. Which is why I come back every single day, 2 times a day, to prayer, so I can let go of these false beliefs that keep me. Yeah, believe God only honors. Well, that's just nonsense. Where did they come from? That was not man or woman. That's just something. That's just something that somebody made up to control others. I mean, if you look at the history of the Roman Catholic Church, it's notorious. as being a male patriotic dominating cult. And but behind all that is love. And that's what we're talking about here. When we practice the art of letting go through meditation, we're able to transcend those limiting beliefs that you've learned in church and we've learned by others to a higher level of consciousness within ourselves. And that's important. You know, and when you're part of that culture, you of course want to belong to that culture. You know, if you were raised in the Roman Catholic Church, that there's also love there, and you want to be a part of that. And if it tells you you don't belong here because you're gay, that's painful. Or you're black, or you're something different than what everybody else is. That is the practice of letting go. That, and it takes courage. It takes courage and an open heart. So let's see what Richard Rohr has to say. Richard Rohr, by the way, is a wonderful Franciscan brother, and he's also a Roman Catholic priest who has been liberated from that belief system, which is one reason why I enjoy reading him so much, because he comes from within that that structure, and he has been a voice of truth from that structure, and I appreciate that. So he talks today about inner and outer freedom. The truth will set you free. Authentic spirituality is always on some level or in some way about letting go. In a consumer society, however, we have little training in how to let go of anything. Rather, more is usually considered better. Jesus said, the truth will set you free. John 8:32. Once we truly see what traps us and keeps us from freedom, we should see the need to let it go. Like what you just said, Michael, those beliefs, they trap us. And so we begin to see a need for letting that stuff go, because it's keeping us from living our lives from a place of love and truth and joy and happiness, really. As Meister Eckhart said, the spiritual life is more about subtraction than it is addition. But capitalist societies make everything into an addition. I almost want to say capitalist societies make everything into an addiction. They do that too. We're addicted to material things. We're addicted to fear. We're addicted to all this stuff because we think we cannot. That's what it's really about. That's why it's so hard to let go of. You know, people you can really, we have a lot to learn from the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous about letting go. People have to let go of their addiction to alcohol for fear that they can't enjoy life without it. As miserable as their lives become, then they finally hit a bottom. Well, maybe that's what's happening at the larger level in the world today. Maybe that's the perfect storm of COVID-19 and all of the narcissistic power struggle of Trump. Maybe the two of those together have created the perfect storm for us to finally hit a real bottom when it comes to fear. You know, fear of death and fear of being manipulated and controlled by others. You know, so let's see if we can find some silver lining inside this storm. Our small self, our cultural biases, and even our fear of loss and death. Freedom is letting go of wanting more and better things. It is letting go of our need to control and manipulate God and others. Don't we all want to manipulate God? We go to prayer, God, give me this, give me that. Almost demanding sometimes. God probably laughs sometimes at that nonsense. It's even letting go of our need. It is even letting go of our need to know and our need to be right, which we only discover with maturity. I need to know. I need to know I'm going to be successful. I need to know that that people are going to like my midday noon meditation. I need to know that this is the right thing for me to be doing every day. That's what I believe. I need to know. I need to know. What needs to know? Why do I need to let go of my need to know and just accept it for what it is and enjoy it? I do enjoy it, but I have to practice a little bit of letting go. We become ever more free as we let go of our three primary motivations. This is important to read that. We become ever more free as we let go of our three primary motivations: our need for power and control, our need for safety and security, and our need for affection and esteem. We all need those. That's why it's so hard, because we need all three of those things to some level in order to survive. We just don't know when to draw the line. Healthy spirituality leads us to true liberation by naming what's real, what's true, and what works now and in the long run. The ultimate reality, the way things really work, is quite simply described as love. Not the emotional love, but the power of the creative force of love of the universe. The ultimate, this way things really work is quite simply described as love, the creative power of love, the life force energy of love. The wise ones recognize that without a certain degree of inner freedom, we cannot and will not truly love. Spirituality is about finding that freedom. Jesus even commanded it, though I'm not sure that we really can order or demand love, to show us how central it is. But we can follow him and practice it. Most of us didn't grow up thinking, this is some stuff for you, Michael, about religion. Most of us didn't grow up thinking of religion as a path of freedom. Instead, we were taught a set of prescriptions, do's and don'ts, musts, oughts, and shoulds, against which we pushed back, like children always do. When we're young, we think rebellion is the only path to freedom. Some amount of structure is important, but it is first level growth. Far too much religion stays right there, milk instead of meat, as Paul puts it. Authentic spirituality, as opposed to mere rebellion, is about finding true freedom. Freedom to be gay, freedom to be black, freedom to be white, freedom to be 65 years old, freedom to love who I want to love, freedom to be happy. It offers us freedom from our smaller selves as a reference point for everything or anything. This is the necessary Corpinian revolution, wherein we change reference points. We discover that we are not the center of the universe any more than the earth is. We no longer feel the need to place our own thoughts and feelings in the center of every conversation or difficulty. Although we have to start with the self as the center to build a necessary ego structure, we must then move beyond it. We have to start with self as the center to build a necessary to protect ourselves. The big and full world does not circle around any one of us, yet so many refuse to undergo this foundational enlightenment, which leaves them much less free than they want to be. We really just have to let go of the notion that the world revolves around ourselves, that whole narcissistic need. And we can see how that works. And maybe that's the value in the president right now. Someone who truly believes the world revolves around him. And it's painful for me too. But that's maybe how we can begin to understand each other. Is our need to dominate and control others, our need to manipulate. And I also desire for freedom and the willingness to let it go. So let's meditate. Let me find my phone. I'm not sure where my phone is today, but let's just do this. Let's put in the timer. And hope the phone doesn't ring. So let's raise your arms in the air. My arms raising up so high. I had a little shoulder problem for a while there. Raise your arm, wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Feel life flowing from your fingertips to your toes, from the top of your head to the butt of the seat. Feel alive and vibrant. We are alive. We're live, living, liberated men and women. Spiritual, live, free to be our loving spiritual selves. Freedom from our egoic mind, freedom from our egoic needs to be right, to win, to manipulate. We have everything we need within us. So put your hand, one hand on your belly, one hand on your heart. Your hand on your belly, feel the power of your belly. Your hand on your heart, feel the power of life, feel love. And now allow yourself to breathe between the two. The exchange of the power in the belly for the love in the heart. And breathe into both of those. Breathe into your belly for power. Bring into your heart for love. And let everything else go. Allow yourself to be still. Allow your mind to be still. And bring all your thoughts, all your beliefs, all your opinions, all the things that you were taught. Let them go. Lay them aside. Surrender them. Every belief and opinion you have about God, about me, about yourself, about this virus, about the president, let them go. Hold on to nothing. Let go of everything about this world that you believe to be true or false. Just let them go. And hold them like little babies in your heart. And if you're feeling any fear in your body, scan it and bring that into your heart. And be grateful. Even the things we do not like, because we don't understand them. Practicing the art of gratitude. Gratitude for what we're learning about ourselves from this virus. Gratitude for what we're learning about our relationship to death about this virus. Grateful for what we're learning about ourselves in relationship to our own egos and our addiction to fear. We human beings are addicted to fear, and let it go. There's nothing to fear. There's nothing to fear. Open your heart and accept the truth of who we are. Be still and know that I am the creative power of all things. And you are that within you that's hearing my voice through your ears, that within me that's speaking to you is the one same creative universe. What else could there be? Get still and feel your way into the depths of your essence. Be still and know that I am not me. Be still and know I am love. Be still and know that I am love. I am not me. I am not me. I am not me. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with my internet. Welcome back. Thank you for joining me today. What was coming up for you? I was aware of my resistance to let myself feel sad. I felt sad. I feel sad a lot right now. And it's okay. Maybe that's the loss of the old self. Maybe that's the loss of people losing their lives. I don't know. It's just a feeling I'm having. And the practice is to allow myself to feel it. It's freedom. Freedom to feel whatever I'm feeling without having to explain it. Same for you. Meditation is not about finding bliss. It's about finding our truth, which includes all of the above. Freedom to be happy, the freedom to be sad, freedom to be angry, freedom to live our lives, freedom to love. Love includes all those things. So thank you for joining me today. Fear now. Feel the fear. Feel the fear and practice. Ask yourself, what do I need to do to let go of this fear? And what am I afraid of? Feel the fear. Feel the fear. Lean into the fear. Find the edges of the fear. Find the center of the fear. Find it in your body. And give yourself permission to just sit in the middle of it with courage. And inquire, what is fear trying to tell me? What do you want to say, fear? Inquire. Inquire into what the fear is about and what does it want to tell you. And then ask your heart, is there something truer about yourself where there is no fear? What is true? What is true? What is true about you? What is true about who you are and why you're here? And see if you can't find something truer about yourself than whatever the fear is trying to tell you. The fear may be trying to tell you you're not good enough, or you're unworthy, or you're not smart enough, or you don't matter. So inquire, is it true that I don't matter? Is it true that I'm not good enough? No, it's truer. I do matter. I am love. I am abundant. I am true loving awareness. And then put your hand on your heart and hold that truth. And see what happens to the fear. Fear. Put your hand on your hearts and say, how can I be grateful for this life? How can I be grateful for the fear? And just see what happens. The interesting thing about fear and gratitude, you cannot experience fear and gratitude simultaneously. So if you're constantly feeling fear, maybe start trying to keep a gratitude journal. I like to keep a combination of a gratitude journal and a generosity journal by my bed. And before I go to bed at night, I write all opportunities I had to be generous, because that makes me feel like abundant when I can give, and all the things that I'm grateful for. Find gratitude in the things you're ungrateful for. Like, what could you be grateful for about Trump? for example? What is in that behavior or him you can learn about a truth? What about the fear itself? How could you be grateful for fear? And just see what happens. Because there's a bigger truth within you that will dissolve it. But it takes a practice. It takes a practice. And you also may be going through a dark time right now. A lot of us are. And then the only thing is just to sit into that fear and sit into that discomfort and hold space for it with a place of love. That's what I would offer. You're welcome. I've been there. Lord knows I went through a dark night of the soul a few years ago where I was paralyzed on the sofa. So it's not it's part of the human experience. And just don't do it alone. Come here every day at noon and practice letting go of fear. That's what it's about. It's a practice. It's an art. And you're always welcome to come here and practice with me. That's life. So until tomorrow, I'll be back. May love and prosperity prevail. Thank you.